The Anglepoise was widely used during World War II as a blackout lamp, but it was also used as a task light on the RAF's bombers. And it was an aeronautical engineer who was behind the invention that led to another great British design, the Maclaren buggy, which went on to transform the lives of millions of mothers and their babies, allowing them to easily get out and about.
And I love to live so pleasantly, live this life of luxury, blazing on a sunny afternoon.
Maclaren buggy could be described as a symbol of liberation, now selling millions worldwide. Before 1965, women were tied to large bulky prams like the Silver Cross, which ensured they could only really venture out as far as the park and back. Trains, planes and cars were out of the question with such a vast piece of equipment.
These are brilliant in London, getting on buses, off buses, all that kind of stuff. And just everywhere you go, everybody's got one. And lots of people go out and spend a fortune before they've had a baby on a really big smart pram and then only use this. So, yeah, they're really good.
I had a much larger buggy that was sort of like the older style that you described, and I couldn't get it into the shops, I couldn't get it into classes or on public transportation, and these you could take anywhere and fold up, and they're great.
In the summertime.
I was brought up along with all my family. We all had the same pram, which is basically the size of a small family car. I mean, people from Eastern European republics now live in spaces smaller than the old Silver Cross pram. And suddenly this thing came, and it was just a bit of metal and a bit of fabric, but you went, you lifted a bit of plastic and went, woo! And there was something there you could keep a child in, sit in, sleep in, everything.
The roots of the Maclaren go back to the Second World War. Using his wartime expertise as an aircraft engineer, Owen Maclaren spotted a gap in the market. He'd spent his early years designing a bulletproof undercarriage for Spitfires and sophisticated landing gear for aircraft. By the early 60s, he was working at Dunlop designing anti-skid brakes. But fed up with this, he decided to set up his own company designing and manufacturing consumer goods inspired by the aircraft industry. He was prompted into designing the buggy when he saw his own daughter struggling with a large pram. She'd married an airline executive and spent many hours travelling across the Atlantic with her baby. Maclaren used his years of aircraft engineering experience to transform the domestic world of baby transport.
The prowess with which you can just hold it, put the flick and go FOP! Like that. And it's up. It's just like hey, you've got it. It's a work of genius. To be able to stand at a bus stop and go, hang on a second. Okay, I'm just a normal punter now. It's wonderful.
Brought his engineering skills to bear, and as a result designed, the famous Maclaren umbrella folding buggy, which of course transformed the whole nursery industry at that time, and has really formed the basis of many pushchair developments since, both from Maclaren plus many other companies as well around the world.
The Maclaren buggy wasn't his only success. As a retired aeronautical engineer, Owen Maclaren liked nothing better than tinkering around his stables coming up with new designs. And the first thing he came up with was this, the gadabout chair. Now looking at that, you can see how close it is to the first Maclaren buggy.
The product's endured, I'm sure, because it's what mothers actually want. We wouldn't have been here that long if it wasn't a saleable product and a reliable product.
Orders poured in so fast, a factory was established near to Owen Maclaren's home in Long Buckby in Northamptonshire, where the headquarters of Maclaren is today. The testing and repair workshop is still based here, and Maclaren hold big store by the buggy's robust qualities and enjoy putting it through its paces. The design team is also based here, and it's just faced its biggest challenge for years.
This particular product is a very latest design. It's a design by Philippom Stark, who we're working with now at the moment, has some new features on it, which are the elbow joints in the middle there and a very clean line. He's very picky about what he wants to see.
Today, when a sexy girl, enough sexy to have children, become a mother, she's surrounded by products so ugly, it's impossible to stay sexy. That's why I try to create a world around this new mother to stay sexy, to stay on the market of girls and not to become just the mother.
We received one sketch from Philip Stark about it. It was a profile sketch really of what he would like it to end up looking like, and that's where we started. Everything else had to be worked out during the process of development.
With my angle of view, which is a little different, you try to clean it.
Very, very clean lines. Really, that's it. That's the feature of it. There's no basket as such, no size to the basket. It has to be very, very clean.
You know, I am just a maid. I'm just a maid with a broom, and I try just to wash around people. I try just to clean the life of my friend, and that's all.
The carrying handle, which is a new design at this point, is very different to anything else we've used. I think it's looking really good, and when we get in the right colours and everything else that it's going to be absolutely stunning.
This prototype is a signature piece of Philippe Stark's design, but this design is much, much more than styling. His design has some real benefits in it. For example, the frame and the way that was designed has meant that an entirely new hinge mechanism has had to be designed, which is arguably much safer. The way in which the canvas seat integrates into the frame means that there's very little room for crumbs and sticky sweets to collect. And also the way in which the carrying handle has been integrated makes it a much improved design. Philippe Stark had a vision, and he threw down the gauntlet to Maclaren's engineers and designers to turn it into a reality. And I think they've done a damn good job.
As hard as I work, I'll never own a McLaren motor car, but I have had a McLaren baby buggy, and it's as near as damn it the same thing.
My wife does all the folding and unfolding, and I do the pushing. You know, it's a kind of equilibrium in our relationship. She folds, I push.